Hey guys, Dr. Charles here, aka CoachMD. Thanks for joining me today. In my over 30 years of medical practice, I've made it my goal to help you create a great life by achieving a strong mind, a healthy body, and an unshakable spirit. Today, I'd like to go over this article by McGill, uh, Office for Science and Society, smashing some mosquito myths. Now, for many of us, it's the summer, it's humid, mosquitoes are really a pain. And what really works, what really keeps the mosquitoes from biting, what's the science behind it? It's very interesting, this article by Joe Swartz, PhD. Um, and it starts off very interestingly, talking about the guests at the Cypress Cove Nudist Resort in Florida. Disclaimer: I've never been there. Routinely emerge from the swimming pool and walk over to a nearby row of citrosa plants. They proceed to shake the shrubbery and then rub their hands on their thighs. No, this is not some sort of bizarre nudist ritual. It is just preparation for a spell of bite-free frolicking in the sun. The citrosa plants produce two compounds, citronella and citral, which are claimed to have mosquito repellent properties. Now, this is where we go into this a little bit deeper. Do these things really work? And what can we do to help repel mosquitoes? Well, have they found something, some cure that has plagued us for time immemorial? Well, mosquitoes hold the unenviable record as the creature responsible for killing the most humans throughout our history. They have dispatched millions with malaria, yellow fever, and encephalitis, and of course, in common days, we have Zika and other very bad infections that are transmitted by the exchange of blood. And this is very interesting that the mosquito is not a conscious murderer. When it sinks its proboscis, okay, I guess that's the extension of its mouth, proboscis into our flesh, it is only trying to survive. Actually, the male is a vegetarian, and it's only the female of the species that torments us. She bites, searches for a source of protein needed to nurture her eggs. Unfortunately, our blood is the ideal source of nutrients for this purpose. Ew. Oh, God, it's so creepy, right? So, as the female mosquito sucks the blood, she injects a mix of chemicals to keep the blood from clotting. It is this mosquito saliva that causes a trigger that can trigger the localized release of histamine, okay, which in turn causes the allergic reaction that we all know of and causes the itching. Far worse, disease-causing organisms which the prospective mother may have picked up from another previous meal, and transferred to us by exchanging the blood. A great deal of research has gone into this to try to determine why the mosquito bites certain individuals. And it's very interesting what we're going to go over here because I used to get bitten up all the time when I was a kid. And throughout my life, I've changed my diet a bit. I've taken different supplements, and I don't really get bit by mosquitoes that much as opposed to other members of my family. So scientific evidence suggests that the mosquito selects its prey by sensing moisture, warmth, carbon dioxide, and various bodily fragrances. Interesting, okay? Lactic acid, a product of muscle metabolism, is a definite attractant. So is octanol, which is produced when plant material is digested. Isn't this interesting? So the breath of cows that ingest a lot of plants, right? The breath makes mosquitoes very active and drool, as they say here. They also find vegetarians particularly appealing. Isn't that interesting? So the breakdown of plant material produces this octanol, which attracts mosquitoes. Mosquitoes' traps that release carbon dioxide and octanol have already been used to significantly cut down on insect populations in Florida. So the traps, they have the carbon dioxide and the octanol, it attracts them, they trap them, they kill them, and that reduces the population. So mosquitoes are also attracted by certain fatty acids produced by bacteria found on the skin. Since people have different microflora, okay, so again, that's our microbiome, not only in our gut, but we have bacteria all over our skin, good bacteria. And so the difference of our bacteria may release certain fatty acids that mosquitoes are attracted to. Interesting. Even certain parts of our anatomy may be more tempting to mosquitoes than others. Some species apparently prefer the fragrances of feet. Others are drawn to more intimate areas. So we are now back to the citrosa, okay? That's the citrosa. That's the plant that they were rubbing on their skin. Promoters claim that the chemicals released by the plant block the mosquito's olfactory receptors, that's their smell receptors, and prevent them from zeroing in on their target. But scientific research unfortunately does not fully support this claim. When researchers thrust their hands into boxes filled with hungry mosquitoes, they find that citronella affords only minimal protection. Interesting, because I always thought that those citronella candles that we buy that they're helpful. In fact, we do that all in our backyard. So let's read some more about this. Consumers who rely on citronella-based bath oils, such as Avon Skin So Soft, are buying into a myth. Really? I thought this stuff worked. The amount of citronella it contains is not enough to repel mosquitoes. Neither is there a significant amount of coumarin, another plant-derived fragrance, which is in high doses can act as a deterrent. Even the citronella candles that so many people rely on for backyard comfort owe their effectiveness more to the smoke they produce than the amount of citronella they disperse into the air. Okay, so they seem to work in our backyard, but I guess it's the smoke and not the citronella. It's very interesting. Smoke really does keep the bugs away. There is one way that sound, because people buy these ultrasonic devices too to try to keep them away, and there's one way that sound, at least in theory, may be put to use. The characteristic buzzing of mosquitoes is of course caused by the beating of its wings. When the female is desirous of mating, she produces a specific hum that brings the mate a-flying. Indeed, a tuning fork struck at the right frequency will attract males. This idea could be used to trap males and reduce the number of eggs, but that doesn't really help us, right? Because it doesn't prevent the females from biting us. So what does? The bugs can be attracted to blue light and zapped with electricity. We've all seen those lights, and that attract the bugs, and they're always zapping. They're kind of annoying, but I guess they do work. This may make a dent in the population, but some researchers suggest that the process can disperse microbes the insects may be carrying into the air. Okay, so that's not good, right? Since the 1950s, we have been relying on NN-diethyl metatolamide, mercifully abbreviated as DEET or DEET, right? So DEET works. That's what they're saying here. The repellent is effective. The repellent effect is proportional to the concentration of DEET in the product. Unfortunately, so are the possible problems. We know that DEET can get absorbed into the skin, and it may be carcinogenic. It's not a great thing to have on us all the time, and therefore that's why we look to other ingredients that might repel insects, especially mosquitoes, even though DEET works really well. But we don't really want that, except if you're in an area that is high incidence of malaria. You may want the risk probably the benefit probably outweighs the risk in that scenario. Bite blocker is a new entry in the mosquito repellent sweepstakes. The active ingredient, listen to this, 2% soybean oil, is certainly innocuous, right? It's not going to hurt us. When mixed in a base of coconut oil, water, glycerin, lecithin, geranium oil, and vanilla, it protects us as well as 20% DEET for a long time. That's because the oil stays on our skin for a long time. A single application can repel mosquitoes for 10 hours. I'm going to look into this bite blocker, or maybe even you can make up your own. Do it yourself, a DIY, a 2% soybean oil mixed with coconut oil, water, glycerin, lecithin, geranium oil, and vanilla. That's innocuous, right? Yeah, let's go for it. I think that's good. Now, here's an interesting other folkloric repellents that people swear by, although they have not been scientifically validated. Supposedly, B vitamins block taste receptors that mosquitoes use when they search for blood. Now, it seems like when I started taking vitamins, it started to drop off my ability to get to attract mosquitoes. So I don't know if that's a cause and effect, but that may be one of the interesting things. Or maybe my microbiome changed, and the fatty acids on my skin prevented me from getting bit as much as I used to. Garlic also has a reputation as a deterrent to the sanguineous predator. But garlic loading hardly constitutes a convenient way of dealing with this problem. And I don't think your people that are around you, maybe going hiking or spending an afternoon in your backyard, are going to appreciate you loading up with garlic, right? According to some accounts, Mediterranean peasants capitalize on the mosquito's preference for pork over humans and allow their hogs to roam freely through the bedroom. Okay, I'll pass on that one, right? None of these remedies works for everyone, not even DEET. Sometimes there is nothing left but bloodthirsty revenge. All you have to do is wait until the mosquito bites and then suddenly stretch the skin around the bite. This is very interesting and kind of sick, right? This will trap the insect's proboscis and apparently cause the insect to keep sucking until it pops. Oh, God. One wonders what inquisitive mind discovered this phenomenon. So it's interesting now. I think, going over this, that obviously we don't want mosquitoes to bite us for a lot of reasons. It's annoying, but even worse, it could pass on different types of infections, and such as malaria, yellow fever, Zika virus, and it's could be potentially dangerous. So this, to me, the bottom line, I think, I'm going to look for bite blocker. I'm going to look for bite blocker, or maybe even make up my own 2% soybean oil. Right here, just going over it again, 2% soybean oil mixed with coconut oil, water, glycerin, lecithin, geranium oil, and vanilla. Okay, that's a winner as far as I'm concerned. So I think hopefully this is going to help some people. I know I'm going to implement some of this. Going to make sure the candles are making a lot of smoke in our backyard to repel the mosquitoes. And until next time, I'm Dr. Charles, aka CoachMD, encouraging you to stay strong in mind, in body, and in soul. Bye for now.
Hey, Dr. Charles, CoachMD. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to like and comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you think you have a friend who might benefit from this video, share it with them. For access to exclusive content, support my Patreon. There you'll get private access to videos, meditations, health tips, even relationship and financial tips. You'll have a say in what I produce and be able to participate in a monthly call with me. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you soon.